Great morning. Carfoots is back. And if you guys hear some noise or you see all that beautiful white in the background, it is snowing in the DMV area. Put my seatbelt on. How you guys doing, first and foremost? As always, man, this video is brought to you guys by The Real Insurance Lady. Listen, you can get all your insurance needs for under 7 minutes. I'll put the graphic on the screen. Make sure you guys hit them up in the description box. All the information will be in the description box. And then it's brought to you by Beast TV. Okay, so our two dynamic sponsors.
After canceling my cable, I saved $2,400 this year by switching to Beast TV through channelsforcheap.com. Some people pay $200+ a month. I paid $120 a year, or you can go $15 a month if that's what's convenient for you. You get 2,500 HD channels. 1,000 of those are in English, and there are plenty other international channels, TV Guide, and we get all the sports. One of my favorite things is multi-screen feature. So if I don't know what I want to watch, I can tune into 4 different channels at one time that you can watch on 4 different devices, and it's available on Fire Sticks, smart TVs, tablets, and if you're on the go, you can watch TV on your phone. Hit the link in my description or go to channelsforcheap.com where you can get a free 7-day trial. That's a whole week for you to just sit down and play with it and see what you like about it, then come back and make a purchase. If you have any questions, go to channelsforcheap.com, hit this little button right here, and they'll respond to you immediately. That is channels4cheap.com. The link is in the description. I highly recommend it. Let's do it.
Now, with that being said, there has been a lot of talk, speculation about, what the Cowboys might do at the head coaching position. Will there be another head coach? Will Mike McCarthy lose the team? And I can see it going both ways, but if it's me, I think I'm leaning to, it's not if it's me. If I know the Cowboys like I think I do, I think that they're going to give Mike McCarthy one more year. Whether that's right, whether that's wrong, because what I believe is there won't be a head coach who can handle this job. Now, many might say that Mike McCarthy can't handle this job, and the truth is these guys weren't ready to play, and he has to take blame for that. He has to take blame. They need to go sit down. He needs to talk to GM Jerry Jones. He needs to talk to Will McClay. He needs to talk to Stephen. There needs to be real open dialogue about what happened. But I've always been told this. My grandmother tells me this. My mom tells me this. You can't make a move until you know what you're going to do, until you have a move to be made. And the truth of the matter is, the Cowboys don't have many options at the head coaching position. I think that Harbaugh would be a great option. But I think that John Harbaugh is going to take the Chargers job. We found out yesterday that Atlanta is interviewing Bill Belichick. Well, guess what? Arthur Blank will be a fool to let Bill Belichick walk out of that building with the pieces that they have, and Bill can just come in and instill what he needs to instill. And then we have to realize this fan base is very unique. This team is very unique. We don't know who wants to deal with Jerry Jones. That's a real thing. We don't know who wants to deal with the owner who meddles, with the owner who really kind of like tells the head coach what to do, in a sense. I don't know what head coach wants to do that. Now, if it's me, maybe a young guy from the Shanahan tree. But I don't think it's an OC that Mike McCarthy was that. I mean, you were the top scoring offense in the league. So now we're talking realistic. I don't think that Mike McCarthy was that bad. I do think that there are moments when you could tell that he got tense, but some of that has to do with the quarterback. Some of that had to do with the line play. I think that those two things right there, and not having a true run game. And when we say run game, I like Rico Dowdle. I thought that he had some nice moments, but I think that you need to upgrade that position in the draft. I've been very clear. The Cowboys need a bell cow running back. It's sad because, we wasted Zeke's career, but I think that where football is going, and you look at the teams left in the playoffs, they all refound their running game. The Bills refound their running game against us. Okay, against us. The Packers. Jordan Love will get all the praises, but it's nice to be able to hand the ball to Aaron Jones and he get 110 yards or whatever he got. Okay, and you could build your scheme off of play action. Dallas never had that. And I was blind to think that Tony Pollard would just get hot. He didn't. Pollard didn't get hot, and he didn't play well in the last game. I didn't even know he played. And, I mean, the Packers were the worst rushing off defense in the league. So I think there has to be a few items of a philosophy change. Now, you went and you drafted Mozzie Smith, and that, up to this point, just wasn't a success. And I can even admit that. And that's not saying that you're giving up on it, but I think that it's going to take some time because as a run-stopping defensive tackle, he had a disappointing year. I can admit that. But they tried. And Mike McCarthy stood on the table for the guy. So he's trying to do the right things. Now, I would love to just clean house. But I do believe that the Cowboys are going to stick with Dak Prescott. I do believe that the Cowboys are going to stick with Mike McCarthy. The coach who I think the Cowboys have to let go is Dan Quinn. And I think that Dan Quinn probably wants to go. I think that the way that this game was called was an utter embarrassment defensively. And Dan Quinn has been a great DC in for the Cowboys. Let's not make that mistake. Let's not act like he hasn't. Dan Quinn has been an outstanding defensive coordinator. He really, really has. But this game, awful. And it started to happen for me around the Buffalo game where I said, you know, the way that Dan is aligning to certain things, the personnel groupings that he's using, I like Marquise Bell, but Marquise Bell is a safety. He's a strong safety. He can't consistently play in the box. He's too light. And he played good football. That's not like Marquise Bell, he's not in the same breath as like a Mozzie or some of those guys. Marquise Bell played excellent football. But he's too light. He's not a real middle backer. And the importance of getting a true linebacker and having a philosophy change on defense is so we don't have to keep putting Micah in the middle. If you want to put Micah at outside backer, I'm fine with that. But as Micah being your run stuffing, shooting gaps, you need a guy. You need somebody who does this. Like, this is on their resume. This is what they do. This is what they did in college. They take on blocks. They're you need a guy around maybe 230, 240, 250 that can really be stout in there. I like Damone Clark. I don't see it. I don't see it with Damone Clark consistently. It's not physical enough. Now, the Joker, when you speak about Joker, I would have loved to have JOK on this team because he is a light guy who plays a little bit more physical than the guys we have. But the Joker in all of this is the Marvin Overshown. But as good as Overshown showed himself to be in the preseason, he ain't stopping me from getting a linebacker. And you guys go on the channel. I was ready for this moment because I kind of knew this would be our Achilles heel. And my first list of Foot's favorites, that's my thing. That's my linebacker deal. That's my draft deal. Foot's favorites, okay? Linebackers were all over there. Edgerrin Cooper, all right? Trevin Wallace, all right? Guys that stuff gaps. Guys that play downhill. The coverage aspect, we could talk about it, all right? But you got to get some guys in here who can fill. That's the coaching word for it, fill. We didn't have that, and we suffered. We suffered mightily. A-gap runs, all these different runs. Plays weren't being made, didn't rally to the ball, didn't tackle well. Gotta have a philosophy change there. I think that Dan Quinn has to be out. And I think that this will be Mike coaching for his job this next year. But, I mean, you gave Jason Garrett 8 years. Mike McCarthy has had this team at 12-5, 3 years in a row, 2 years or 3 years in a row, one of that. I just don't see the Cowboys saying, well, we're going to move on from a coach that's 12-5, because if you do that, then you might as well move on from the quarterback. I think that they're both married, and I think that all our resources have to go to the defensive side of the ball and running the football and getting back to playing time possession football, because, God, that was awful and hard to watch. First Green Bay. I mean, like, I'm still stung about that. You know, Philly lost last night. That doesn't even make me feel better. I'm still, when I look at it, when it's talked about, I'm still stung about just how bad, how ill prepared this team was. So on the coaching front, you know, some of those names, I like Bobby Slowick, but I don't know if he's ready for this job. I don't. Maybe he is. I want to get a Shanahan guy, a Shanahan tree in here, but is he ready to coach the Dallas Cowboys with all that comes with this? Can he handle that? I don't know. So, it's your boy Foots. Another offseason. First round exit. Complete embarrassment, but we live. Peace.